He passed.
I'm so sorry.
And neighbors put in a welfare call. We found him just sitting in front of the TV.
You're just in time. Holden's come across something and he would like for us to weigh in.
We were just discussing that it didn't fall within our purview.
No ransom call ever materialized. To date, there's no federal crime. The mayor requested we get involved, but I don't think justice wants to touch this with a 10-foot pole.
That's pretty definitive.
I've developed an initial profile and was running it by the unit to get their input.
I'd like to hear it.
With all due respect to my partner and his nearly infallible instincts, I couldn't begin to work up a profile at this stage. I'd have to do a lot more honest-to-God, on-the-ground legwork. I agree with Holden's presumption that if the cases are connected, the unsub is likely black. As to whether any are connected, entirely uncertain.
Dr. Carr, what's your opinion?
Nothing Holden's presented could be mistaken for scientific. As to the profile, there's some common sense there, but we need to be able to support our hypotheses.
Thank you. This is below our radar, for now. Stay current with it.
I feel like I would be better if I was wearing the proper footwear.
So Ransome. I mean, they go with everything.
Do you have any idea who's been wearing those?
It's your call.
I just think it's an unfair advantage. I was with someone for a long time.
I'm guessing General Patton thinks you're waiting for Mr. Right.
I mean, people see what they want to see. No, I just feel that it's easier to compartmentalize that part of my life. What on earth are you doing tending fern?
Don't knock it. It's a great way to pick up chicks.
I seem to recall being your only prospect in there. Henley and another young man, David Brooks, 18, were acolytes of Quarles. Their roles were clearly defined. Brooks and Henley would procure victims with the promise of drugs or alcohol, and then Coral would wait until they were inebriated and then handcuff them to his bodyboard. He managed to talk his way off the rack, but instead of turning Coral in, he joined him.
Coral must have had tremendous sway over this kid.
Come on. Unless someone holds a gun to your head.
So how does a teenager go from victim to facilitator to participant?
And finally, avenger of sorts.
I've got Earl. He's in Alabama. It'll cost you $200 to get him back.
Cross state lines.
FBI has jurisdiction. That's great.
It's a way in. DC's assigned a case agent with expertise in kidnapping. Be methodical. Do your legwork. And Dr. Carr, I expect you to remain in close contact. This case is now getting bureau attention. I want our methods to be seen as scientifically incontestable.
Maybe he's trying to make me feel better by tipping his hat to science.
You on this full time now?
They needed a liaison. I was up to speed. The only volunteer.
3 units ready to respond in the vicinity. The rest will cover major access roads here and here. $200 ransom? This is opportunistic extortion at best.
$200 ransom.
You don't like your father's name?
It speaks. Thought they brought you in just to throw me off. So what is this, like a bad cop, good shrink situation? Full of shit.
She used her status to control and subjugate me. I never saw it that way until I was no longer with her.
You're lying.
I'm not.
That was before he started talking about killing.
How did he start talking about killing?
First he just asked if I could, you know, if I was robbing a house or something, I was cornered, would I be willing to off some guy?
What's happening to these children isn't a random wave of violence. There's definite method to victim selection. In these cases, he's showing an obvious predilection toward young boys.
You're saying he?
I believe you have a predator.
Commissioner, this is early days. We have a lot of work ahead of us. We can't rule anything out.
There are other commonalities that suggest a single killer. All are from the same socioeconomic background. All the bodies have been moved and left to be discovered post-mortem. Several were asphyxiated. These killings are personal and may well be sexually driven.
We've seen no evidence of rape with any of these boys.
We're learning sexual gratification can come from the act of violence alone. I think this man is a Hebephile. He's looking for pubescence.
At least 3 of the victims are 14.
Yes, but he might drive a vehicle disarming to kids, an ice cream truck, or a police car.
Gentlemen, I know this can all sound conjectural, but I assure you we conduct our work very methodically.
I have managed to get the FBI here under the auspices of a kidnapping.
Earl Terrell.
Yes. I've just come from coordinating with the task force and meeting with Commissioner Brown. Oh, we don't have to leave. We're just starting.
You do have to leave. FBI no longer has jurisdiction. We appreciate your help.
What just happened?
He pulled the plug.
He can't do that. Can he do that?
Oh, yeah. Look, the mayor called Washington and the FBI showed up. That looked good for him. Showed he has clout. What doesn't look good is the public or the press terrified there's a predator out there. And redirect the investigation to look for a black perpetrator? That's not going to play with his constituency.
She's out back.